10th sign, corroborating the miracles concerning trees and reported in the form of consensus, is the miracle of the moaning of the pole. Yes, the pole's moaning in the prophets, upon whom be peace, mosque before a vast crowd because of its temporary separation from him, both confirms and corroborates the instances of miracles related to trees. For the pole also was of wood, their substance was the same. However, although there is a consensus of opinion concerning the reports of this miracle, the other miracles are unanimously agreed upon only as a class. There is mostly no clear consensus about them individually or as separate instances. When delivering the sermon in the mosque, God's noble messenger, upon whom be peace, used to lean against a pole consisting of a date palm. But when the pulpit was made, he began to give the sermon from there. Whereupon the pole moaned and wailed like a camel. The whole congregation heard it. Only when the God's messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, came down from the pulpit and placed his hand on it, speaking to it and consoling it, did the pole stop moaning. This miracle of Muhammad, upon whom be peace, was narrated through numerous chains of transmission, and there was agreement concerning it. Indeed, the miracle of the moaning of the pole is very widely known, and there is true consensus, or in Turkish, kakiki mutawatir, concerning it. Hundreds of authorities on hadith of the subsequent generation narrated the miracle through 15 chains of transmission from an illustrious group of companions and passed it down to succeeding centuries. From that group, eminent scholars among the companions and leading experts on hadith, such as Anas bin Malik and Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari, both servants of the Prophet, upon whom be peace, Abdullah bin Umar, Abdullah bin Abbas, Sahal, Sa'd, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Ubay bin Ka'b, Buraidah, and Salama, the mother of believers, each at the head of a chain of transmission, reported this same miracle to the Prophet's, upon whom be peace, community. Foremost Bukhari, Muslim, and the authentic books of hadith gave accounts of this great miracle, which were unanimously accepted, together with its lines of transmission for succeeding generations. Jabir, in his chain of transmission, says, God's messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, used to lean against a wooden pole called the palm trunk, while delivering the sermon in the mosque. The pole could not endure it when the pulpit was made, and the messenger, upon whom be peace, used that for the sermon, and it began to moan and wail like a pregnant camel. In his narration, Anas says, it moaned like a water buffalo, causing the mosque to tremble. In his narration, Sal bin Sa'd says, the people started weeping and crying when the pole was moaning. In his narration, Ubay bin Ka'b says, it wept so much it split. While in another narration, the noble messenger, upon whom be peace, said, it is weeping at being separated from the recitation of God's names and the mentioning of God during the sermon. Still another narration reports that God's messenger, upon whom be peace, said, if I had not embraced and consoled it, it would have wept until doomsday at being separated from God's messenger. In his narration, Buraidah reports, when the pole began to moan, God's messenger, upon whom be peace, put his hand on it and said, if you wish, I will return you to the grove you came from. Your roots will grow and you will flourish. You will produce new fruits. Or if you wish, I will plant you in paradise, and God's friends, the saints, will eat of your fruit. He then listened to the pole. The people behind God's messenger, upon whom be peace, could hear it as it spoke, saying, plant me in paradise, where there is no decay, so that Almighty God's beloved servants may eat of my fruit. The messenger, upon whom be peace, said, I will, and added, it has preferred the eternal realm to that of transitoriness. Abu Isaac Esfaraneh, one of the great authorities on theology, narrated, "God's messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, did not go to the pole, but it came to him at his command." Then, at his command, it returned to its place. Ubay bin Ka'b says, "After this extraordinary event, God's messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, ordered that the pole be put under the pulpit. It was put there and remained there until the mosque was pulled down before being rebuilt. Then Ubay bin Ka'b took it and kept it until it decayed." The famous scholar Hassan al-Basri would weep while teaching this miraculous event to his students and say to them, "A piece of wood demonstrated love and longing for God's noble messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, so you should feel more love than that. As for us, we say, yes, and love and longing for him is shown through following his illustrious practices, sunnah, and sacred sharia." An important point, if it is asked, why were the miracles that were displayed in connection with food to satisfy fully 1,000 men with 4 handfuls of food in the Battle of Khandak, and another 1,000 men with water flowing from the messengers, upon whom be peace, blessed fingers, not narrated through numerous chains of transmission, as the miracle of the moaning of the pole was, although the former 2 miracles occurred in the presence of larger crowds? The answer: the miracles that were manifested were of 2 kinds. One was manifested at the hands of God's messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, in order to make people assent to his prophethood. The moaning of the pole was of that kind. It occurred solely as a proof, an affirmation of prophethood, to increase the believer's faith, to urge the dissemblers to sincerity and belief, and to bring to belief the unbelievers. That is why everyone, the low and the high, saw it, and great attention was paid to broadcasting it. However, the miracles concerning food and water were wonders rather than miracles, or divine favors rather than wonders. Or more than favor, they were banquets bestowed by the All-Merciful One because of need. For sure, they were proofs of his claim to prophethood and miracles. But their basic aim was this: the army was hungry, so Almighty God provided a feast for 1,000 men, out of a handful of food from his treasury in the unseen, just as he creates 1,000 pounds of dates from a single seed. And for a thirsty army fighting in his way, he caused water to flow, like the water of Kauthar, from the fingers of its commander-in-chief, and gave them to drink. It is for this reason that all the examples of the miracles concerning food and water do not attain the degree of the miracle of the moaning of the pole. However, in their entirety, the various kinds of those 2 miracles are as numerous and unanimously reported as the moaning of the pole. Moreover, not everyone could see the increase of food and water flowing from his fingers. They could only see the results. Whereas everyone heard the pole moaning, so it was more widely broadcast. If it is asked, all the actions and conduct of God's messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, were recorded and transmitted by his companions with extreme care. Why then were such great miracles only narrated through 10 or 20 chains of transmission, when they should have been narrated through 100? Also, why were many narrated from Anas, Jabir and Abu Huraira, and few related from Abu Bakr and Umar? The answer to the first part of the question has been given in the 3rd principle in the 4th sign. Regarding the second part, just as someone in need of medicine goes to a doctor, mathematicians are consulted on mathematical problems, and questions to do with the Sharia are asked of the Mufti, and so on. So too, some of the scholars among the companions were charged with the duty of instructing succeeding centuries in the hadiths of the Prophet, working with all their strength for this end. Yes, Abu Huraira devoted his entire life to memorizing hadiths, while Umar was occupied with the world of politics and the caliphate. Umar therefore narrated very few traditions, relying on persons like Abu Huraira, Anas and Jabir to teach the hadiths to the Muslim community. Furthermore, on a well-known, truthful, sincere, honest and trusted companion reporting an incident through one chain, it was regarded as sufficient, and no need remained for anyone else to narrate it. This is why some significant events were narrated through only 2 or 3 chains of transmission.